Hi, everybody. Um, I had a recommendation from Bob on a topic, and that topic has been of interest to me for some time. Um, about I guess, the disaffection, it seems, of the middle of both political parties in Canada, the Liberals, seemingly the conservative side of Liberals and the Liberal side of the Conservatives both don't have a home anymore. It seems, at least certainly they have to strain hard to stay where they are. And I think this next election, there is a lot up for grabs. And anyway, but before I dive into that, I just wanted to make one other observation, and it was kind of follows on from the last little spiel I did with regard to um, the seeming intense activity in the media to attempt to make everything racist and or you know an issue with racism in some way, shape, or form, um, and or a problem with society. And in the U.S., the predominant members of society being of a lighter skin color, uh, everything that's wrong with it is associated with them. And in this particular case, it's the rush to judgment on who had performed that horrible act in Boulder, Colorado. Um, I don't know how many of you might be watching online to see comments and the various talking heads going on about, and especially on media like Twitter, where all of a sudden, I guess one of the main comments is something along the lines of, I wish I didn't have to worry about angry white men having a bad day. And I guess that follows on the bad day comment by that idiot cop in Atlanta, um, which really triggered a lot of people, it seems. But anyway, turned out that, he was light skinned but Syrian. And Ahmad Al is our, I forget the exact pronunciation, but 21-year-old, and his brother says, a very sick guy actually, not right, very antisocial and just mentally ill. So anyway, that kind of killed that. There was a lot of people had to delete tweets after the discovery of the fact the guy was a Syrian immigrant at a young age, and spent high school at the local high school just outside of Boulder there. So just a unfortunately somewhat deranged individual, and just, well, obviously deranged. He shot point blank and murdered a bunch of people. After knocking them down with a shot, he went right up to them and murdered them point blank range. So not a well man. And it is true that mostly men do these things. And I guess we'll have to figure out what. But we got to stick to the facts on these things. It's just all of this speculation and all of the finger pointing and an attempt to shame entire groups of the population based on the fact that they're the majority and life isn't perfect. I guess, I don't know. Anyway, it just seems so useless and destructive. So anyway, that's something that drives me nuts. Um, Also, this, yeah, the other item, man, if I think all that Trudeau had to do to keep everyone on his side would have been to build that factory that he was suggesting he might do. Repurpose a building somewhere and go all out and equip it to create vaccine. It's not like Canada wasn't one of the world leaders in the creation of vaccines once upon a time. We've allowed so much of our technology. Apparently, just as an aside, the Huawei 5G technology that they're running around the world selling like crazy now was stolen from Nortel, which doesn't shock me at all. Nortel was one of the early Western companies to move into China, thinking they were going to get a chunk of that, billion-person business, and never did, and lost all their intellectual property, and then got folded up by crooked people out of the States running the business. But anyway, so I think the situation here is, that he could have rescued his position with Canadians by doing what we should have done in the past, is kept a strategic amount of locally capable companies and research. Even if the government has to fund it, then so be it. You need the expertise. It's clear now after Trump that we cannot depend upon our friends to the south anymore. Even with Biden in place, I mean, he threw us 1.5 million doses, and I think we bought 20 million doses of that particular product. But we're somehow at the beck and call of him giving us 1.5 million. I don't like the idea that we have to depend upon that, and certainly if another Trump gets back in, then they can cut us off of everything that comes from across the border in the time of need, as he did with the masks. And good on 3M, the American company, to work with the Canadian government and others to build a factory in Kingston to give us a supply of N95 masks for the future. We've solved that problem, but darned if we are going to be in a situation where we're having to beg Germany and U.S. and England for our vaccines. Beg them. Shoot, we're paying good money for them. We just can't get them on time. So, to me, that's unacceptable. And he needed to build that to me, that was the obvious thing to do. We can't live this way anymore. Start the building. And if he'd done that, I think he would have easily sailed through another election. But he didn't. And now we're running around cap in hand trying to get the vaccines as fast as we can, and it ain't fast enough. And the Americans are going to outdo us. They started way behind, and they're going to end up probably vaccinating their entire population quicker than we do. And, that's that doesn't make sense. So, and then you've got the Conservative Party, who should be able to sweep in here and pull those people like myself, somewhat disaffected with the decision making and the huge debt that the Liberals are running up. And what do? They vote to excuse me, one sec. Oops, sorry about that. They decide that climate change isn't a thing, and they're not going to, even though their leader recommended to them that they go ahead and include that as a plank of their future platform. They don't have to even do anything about it, just acknowledge it exists. And they weren't having it. So the Harper conservatives are loath to let go of control at that level. Once they're in, they don't want to leave. So you've still got a majority of Harper conservative types who don't like the idea of even acknowledging that such a thing might be happening. It just holds them back. There's no way that the conservative liberal is going to vote for a party. And my daughter already told me that. She said, "How can I vote for a party that doesn't even accept that there's a possibility that there's climate change?" They're disaffecting. They're basically squandering their opportunity, and as has the Liberals. So I don't know. Does the NDP go up the middle? And I don't know about that either. So interesting times here. I think as time gets closer to the election, that's coming eventually, we will begin to see a real effort put in to persuade those voters. I just got polled on the phone not too long ago on these exact items. And old retired guys like me, I guess we wield way too much polling power because we're actually answering the phone in on our landlines and answering them, answering the questions. Anyway, and they keep calling me, so because I'm the only one who would do that, I guess. So anyhow, interesting times, as I say, and it's really unfortunate that the popular media, the media out there, seems to, I guess, they get more likes and more looks and more eyeballs and more ad revenue by trying to appeal to a demographic out there. But oh man, they've burned all their credibility with me at this point. Pretty much, I am looking for news in other places now. I look actually at the individual providers. I'm looking at various websites and individual writers for their credibility, and I'm looking at YouTube channels at scientists and others for their comments on subjects, because frankly I don't get accurate information from the media like we used to. Walter Cronkite is long gone, and I guess the CBC has lost Lloyd. What was his name? The greaseback hair, Lloyd. Anyway, there's been a number of them who are actually, I think, quite good on the CBC, and it's just the CBC is not what it used to be. So anyway, I could show a list. I think I might start to do that in my YouTube little discussions here, where I get my information from, and I think some of them are pretty good. At least it's worth a look on some subjects on these other alternate channels. And stay away from QAnon. The other thing that was interesting, I guess, that lawyer for Trump, that woman who was claiming that the Dominion machines or whatever, the voting machines were made by the Venezuelan president or funded by him, and she is now her defense in being sued by Dominion voting machines was that who could possibly have believed it was all lies, of course, and what sane person would have ever believed her? So the Republicans seem to have really descended into a mess when you've got people like that saying that, and with a straight face. It's okay to say any lie as long as you're in support of your point of view. Whoa. Anyway, have yourself a good day. It's getting warmer, and looking forward to the spring. And here's hoping. Oh, and leave comments, please. I know you've got your own ideas on these things, especially Canadian politics. That usually gets a couple of comments anyway. Talk to you guys later. Bye.